come in and share the challenge. Okay, well let's move on to, if there are no questions for Lisa, you'll be here if something comes up anyway, if people want to ask.
Yep.
So just a bit of context again around the proposal, and I know there's been a little bit of media about this, and we just need to be really clear. This certainly isn't a stoush between the local board and governing body, and neither is it a stoush between the two CCOs. I just want to acknowledge both our CCOs for having held their corners on this. You both have different requirements to achieve, and you've both presented opportunities for us to look at, and thank you. That's actually the job that we've asked you to do. I know that I'm going to ask our two CEOs to have a word in a moment, but I just want to make sure that people have seen the copy of the letter from Chris, and just acknowledging Chris Aiken, who's here from the wonderful Hobsonville Land Company. We've got Chris's letter, which has been circulated to everyone, to just put out quite clearly Hobsonville Land Company's perspective on this. So I just want to make sure that people have had a chance to have a look. I think we've got some hard copies if needed, but just we'll let Rita know if you do need a hard copy. So we've had a huge amount of discussion on this, and we've had the workshop where we had both our CCOs present and discuss the opportunities, and I'm going to ask them shortly to just take us where they've got, or where the discussion has got to post workshop. But I just want to acknowledge my colleague Ross Clove from the West, and I know if Linda was here she'd be saying some similar things. This has been an area whose gestation has been very, very long, going right back since 1992, where we worked really hard to get fantastic urban design, best quality outcomes for this area, which did include employment land. So I make no apologies that we've tried really hard with the marine industry, and I'd just like to acknowledge everyone who's been involved in that. But we have to be practical, and we have to look at what, if not marine industry, then what, and that's what we've asked ATEED to also look at for us. So I want to acknowledge the work that Hobsonville Land Company has done. You've carried out the vision that Old Waitakere had and the government had, just in an exemplary manner, and you are the poster child for good urban design and development in the region, and for that I really want to thank you. So I'm going to ask David and Brett to just give us a bit of where have we got to from the workshop, and then basically we're just going to take the reports as read and go straight into questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I could just acknowledge the presence of Richard Aiken, the Deputy Chair of ACPL, and Anne Blackburn, who are in attendance for the item. So the workshop was a very good opportunity for councillors to understand both the options. I'm not going to traverse that material again. Really, from the workshop, there have been no real changes to the proposal from ACPL. Obviously, we've given consideration to the reduced or speeded up process that ATEED have proposed, and Brett will talk about in a second. And I guess, as flagged in the report, essentially the ACPL board's position is we would prefer to get on with our proposal, but viewed objectively, there's no particular material problem caused by a 3-month delay. Obviously, we want to make sure it didn't go beyond that. But there's no material identifiable issue caused by that delay.
Thanks, David. Brett.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and kia ora to councillors and members. Taking the feedback from the recent workshop, we obviously took on board the need for some resolution around the future use of the site. And so in consultation with KPMG, we believe that an October 31st deadline is realistic, given the work that's already been done in testing investor interest. At the same time, we have also gone back to some of those investors, and they have confirmed that you'll recall that the initial investor interest was predicated on a BOOT model, a build, own, operate, transfer, From further discussions with those investors, they have indicated that they would be interested in both leasehold and freehold options for that site. So potentially they'd be interested in leasing the site, and some would be interested in buying it outright. So they are options on the table which could change the financial implications as they were analysed in the original workshop, which was comparing a boot model to the ACPL option. We've also taken into account some of the concerns around the community. These facilities and other locations are integrated in with the community, and I would remind councillors and members that one of the proposals for the studio complex is to incorporate 2 learning institutions. So 2 of our universities have indicated they'll move their film schools to Hobsonville Point as part of this proposal. So it will be a mixed use facility. I think we've sent through some drawings of what it might look like, just to clarify that. So I don't know if someone's got those that we can put up. Rita's got that drawing, just to give people an idea of what it. And these are just some artist's impressions, but just to give you a sense that, yeah, I think there's a better drawing than that. Yeah, so it gives you kind of a sense of the scale of it, and trying to incorporate in some community facilities in the buildings as well. So hopefully that gives you a sense of how this would integrate with the community, both in terms of generating high-value jobs, but also having young people as part of the facility. I think the final piece, just in terms of updating the committee, is the proposal that the Auckland Investment Office, as part of their role in progressing transformational projects on behalf of Auckland Council, will conduct the process between now and the 31st of October, obviously working with ourselves and with ACPL as part of that. Thank you.
Okay, that's useful. Right, so we'll just take a series of questions first. Councillor Crum.
Thank you, and thanks for your time here this afternoon, gentlemen. So just a quick question off the back of something you've just said, Brett, and then one other. You've mentioned the education element to what could be, what could eventuate if it was to be a film precinct. Will you build on, because I know I've read material in the report in regards to an extension of the grid concept, so an innovation hub, obviously based around the film industry. Is that something that you would build into you know, sort of the testing market propositions? You'd want investors to build that in?